appreciate everybody coming tonight. If we can have a motion to open the meeting tonight. Do we have a second? Thank you. All in favor to open the meeting tonight, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is now in session at 6:03. If I can get everybody to please stand and say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. All right. I will give let me run through tonight's agenda real quick here. We do have I'll go through last meeting's minutes real quick. Public comments, which I'm not sure if we have any. Board comments, which we do have a good handful of them to go through this evening, and then we are moving the finance update just up a lot earlier. We have Mark on the phone joining us tonight, and that way he's able to give his update. And then Dr. Cotton will move into the head of school reports section, and then we'll get into principals reports and PC directors reports, staff development, some athletics operations, and then we'll get into PTO and athletic booster clubs if there's any updates, and then some committee reports. We will have a closed session tonight, probably anticipate to be a fairly short closed session, but we do have a closed session for to get some legal updates. And then that'll be it. So, and we do have our meeting from our January meeting minutes from January 27th. Everybody have a chance to go through the meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Everything look good? All right. Can we get a motion to approve tonight's agenda and the previous meeting minutes from January 27th?
I'll make a motion to approve last month's and this month's.
Perfect. Thank you. And a second?
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The tonight's agenda and meeting minutes have been approved. All right, we'll move into public comments. I don't believe we have any public comments tonight, so that'll be short and sweet. Get into the board comments. As I mentioned, we do have a few of these to go over tonight. The first one on the list here is our school logo. Ran into a couple issues here recently where the logo, I think, was used without authorization. And speaking with legal, they asked me if it was trademarked. And I said, well, I don't know. And so did a little deeper dive, and I couldn't find anything. I don't know if anybody has had any success or looked into it, but from what I could tell, the information that I sent out to the board, we do not believe it is trademarked. So I'll open it up for discussion if we are fine with that. We've had the logo for probably a lot of years without it being trademarked, but certainly it could help with some legal advantages if we did in cases of folks using the logo, not with our approval. So to do that, we would have to seek some legal advice. There's a trademark lawyer. We can get referrals. We don't have one on staff, but estimated cost if we did to do that would be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 to trademark. That's a quick estimate that we've gotten. I haven't talked to anybody, but that's what we've heard. But so I'll open it up if anybody has any comments, whether we should or not. We don't have to even vote for it. We can just talk about it, or if we feel strongly one way or the other, we can open it up for a vote. So I don't know if anybody's got any comment.
Well, so this is correct me if I'm wrong, but the issue that we had was something on Instagram. Is that correct?
Instagram or TikTok or
Yeah, one of those social media platforms.
Social media.
Created a fake account.
use the school's name.
Yeah, so so through my business, I've gone through trademarking, and quite honestly, it's a long process. I don't remember what the cost was, but I do remember it was a very long process. You spend all the paperwork and then the challenge that you end up having is the legal basis, and would it ever create an issue big enough that we would want to tackle it and spend the money with legal funds. I don't know if it's ever become big enough of an issue, and quite honestly, the people that are creating the social media accounts, are we really going to go after them from a legal basis? So I don't know if it's really the time and money is worth the effort.
That was kind
But
of
it's
my
not
sentiments
something that I
as well.
fall on my sword.
What's that?
That was kind of my sentiments as well.
Like that it would end up costing us more in legal fees.
Yeah.
Is there any scenarios where it'd be a use of our logo and name would be well worth it?
What if we're doing so awesome as a school that somebody wanted to leverage our name?
It was.
Well, I guess one of my thoughts was, how would we stop that really from happening again? And how long of a process would it take to do that? Like, is it worth it?
Anything done on social media is very difficult to pinpoint. You have to have warrants, and it's just a long process. Some of you remember the challenge we had a couple years ago, but it'd be a lot of work, and I don't think, quite honestly, the cops are going to spend too much time on anything like that.
No, it would move pretty quick straight to an attorney format on that.
And then you have to spend money to protect the trademark.
Mhm.
That's the part B of that. If somebody infringes, now you've got to go out.
Mhm.
It's going to cost.
Yeah. So something to think about. If we do want to move forward with it, we don't like so just discussion tonight if we need to, but certainly if anybody feels strongly one way or another, it's we understand what it will take, I guess, a little bit more. Anybody else? Trademark? Okay. All right. Next on the list is land use potentially. We have a few acres back behind the loop, and right now it's just hanging out. It's in fields. It's being overgrown. Nothing's being done to it, but there's a lot of opportunities there. And I think, Jim, you might have talked to the engineer who engineered the loop and the soccer field and that area over there. And he estimated possibly, if we wanted to get potential drawings, or any ideas for that land over there, if we wanted some sports fields or anything, his initial thought was $5,000 to $7,500, and that's just a quick ballpark estimate there, and to get some drawings, and for us really to move forward with anything, get quotes or anything, you got to have some sort of drawings, and so I also thought maybe it's not a bad idea if we are considering this, there is some extra costs. I don't know what the costs are, but the town provided a few steps that we need to do. Like, one is an arborist that has to go check out the trees and sign off on stuff if there's any trees that are being removed, or a larger section of trees. There's some other probably some site work or some staking or something. But so with that, I recommend, if we do want to move forward, at least with some initial drawings or just, and this is not approval to say, yes, we're doing anything. It's just to have drawings that we can look at and we can say, hey, that's a good idea, or no, that's not going to be a good idea, or we can get estimates from contractors to install fencing, or do pavement for parking, or run water lines, or anything like that. So I would suggest if we do want to move forward with a land use, initial drawing approval, that maybe we can set aside up to 10,000. I don't think we'll get to that point, but at least know that we can insert into this year's budget if we can. It's not already budgeted at all. This would be a new line item that we'd add into it, but so I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on it.
So when I was speaking with the engineer, I actually spoken with a couple engineers. But one of the specific things I was talking about is cost engineering, right? So going into it, not just some engineers will just, like I had one at one of my sites, you try to put an entire underground retention pond, like fortified concrete bunker.
Underground?
Underneath the building.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously that was not going to be cost effective. So when I was talking with Gary McGee.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's it. I was talking about cost engineering, right? So would it be cheaper to go to move the dirt, create a soccer field in the roundabout, or up at the top? At the top, you can actually fit a baseball field and a soccer field. It's a lot leveler. So typically the grading companies, they charge the cost build up by how many yards of dirt and earth they're moving. So we don't really know. So I would suggest that we go down this route that we talk to Gary or whichever engineer it is, to have them do cost engineering, so to help us understand, okay, well, the engineering cost is going to be this, but your construction cost, if you do it in loop, is going to be much higher than the upper field or vice versa. So maybe it's possible to do both, but I don't know. We'll also say, Hunter has talked about this in the past about how much we spend on soccer fields and baseball fields, and then also the demand for renting that type of stuff. So I think we probably need to dig into the numbers a little bit more, but if we can get like some sort of estimate on how much is it going to save and how much realistically, how much do you think we can actually make on these fields?
Yeah, this year is a little bit different just because of the number of sports teams, but in the year it's 26 to 30,000 for soccer, baseball, softball. So that's middle
And that's
and high
just
school.
that's just what we're spending on renting.
Correct.
So,
You said 26.
26 to 30,000 a year in field rentals.
so I think with costs like that, depending on how expansive we go,
I mean, the soccer in the fall was almost $12,000 alone. And this was the highest it's ever been. Baseball was 6 to 8,000 if we had both teams playing at home, practicing every day. This year, that's not the case, so the cost is a lot less for baseball. About 26 to 30,000.
Now, how easy is it to find soccer fields and baseball fields?
Soccer is easier than baseball. Baseball's the
True.
hardest. That's the reason we're in the situation we're in this year as far as limited practice and home games. Most towns, if they do have a field available, it's reserved for local, private, or community schools they've already partnered with for contracts, or it's AAU based, like or their rec league has taken priority. So if you're willing to drive 30 minutes out, you can kind of find more fields, but it's a trade-off.
That's
So
it's a continued safety risk for our kids having to drive, and parents are having to drive every day.
I want to say, and it's in the budget, but I want to say it was around 32,000 was budgeted just for field rentals this year. So I don't think we're going to go over that, but it'll be close.
Sounds right. Yeah, then a softball team down the road, and that's
Yeah.
well over that.
And we haven't had softball the last 2 years, maybe 3. My first year or 2, we did have it. So
Yeah.
you take 2 middle school team or middle school, high school, so you got two of everything. So that's the cost. But yeah, soccer was almost $12,000 in the fall alone. So let's say the spring was anywhere close to that. It's 24,000 just in 2 rentals.
and if we have somebody renting the field from us as well.
Yeah, I mean,
We'd either be saving that and we'd be making that.
You'd be making every bit of that on top of what you're saving.
your return on investment would be probably less than 2 years, 3 years, depending on how many fields you have to put out there. But based on the money we save and the money you can bring in on weekends and summers.
I agree. I mean, I'm familiar with baseball field rentals, and it is around this area, it is not cheap.
Yeah. And even if something
by the
happens
hour
to
is
where we don't have enough to
expensive.
fill a team, or we don't, I mean, we could always rent out to another school and let them use it as a home field or something for a semester. And I mean, they pay us $12,000, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. And right now, we're getting $0 for it. And yeah, if we can, in the end, whatever fields if you decide to go that route, I mean, you can work with the athletic boosters or families within the community or businesses, and I'm sure there's some cost savings opportunities for us to get some of these. And even if you have to pay for it, I mean, you're still, within a few years, potentially being able to recoup all your money for that. And then it's just, again, continued rentals for a long time, just upkeep. The only thing you got to really think about is field maintenance and mowing grass and lining fields and paint and keeping sure all that, that'll add probably a little expense from somebody, but it's not a full-time job or anything. But
It's also a good job shadowing opportunity as well.
you volunteer out. Yeah, there we go.
We can have a local landscaping company take it on.
Do you have a ballpark figure of how much this project would cost?
That's why we need drawings. I mean, every time I think I got a number in my head, prices keep going up from these guys. I think overall prices seem to be holding maybe a little steady this last couple of years, but I mean, it's probably not going to drop as low. They probably really won't drop much at all. It'll only probably I would think it would get a little bit more expensive because the competition just to rent fields here is just continuing to grow. Like you can't go to, I mean, you can. I've rented like the town of Fuquay's baseball fields, but it's not an easy time to get in to find scheduling to even get in there. And even that, there's all the rec teams, and then there's Wake County middle schools, and they're looking for fields. Charter schools, homeschool teams, they're looking for fields. So I mean, it's a tough market. So certainly, if we build it, I don't really see the word gets around, and it'll get around pretty quick. I don't think we'd have a problem renting when we're not using it. So we just have to do a little more scheduling, probably.
That kind of thing. I don't really have a good figure on that either, because I know the prep for some sort of a soccer field or a baseball field is a lot more than just doing normal grading. But you're going to be a couple $100,000 just in the grading alone. So we did get a quote on the fencing to go all the way around. If we put the soccer field in the loop, I want to say it was about $97,000. And I had a couple gates just to get us in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Then you got to think about bleachers, if you want bleachers, or standing room only. If you do bleachers, then you got to factor in the cost of yearly bleacher inspections and maintenance that's required by state law. So just keep that in mind too.
And when we do get drawings and submitted through town, get all the approvals in place, you have X number of days or years, I don't know if it's 2 years or something, just short number of years to get the project started. Once you get the project started, you can build it in phases. You can have as many phases as you want for about as long as you want, but that you got to get started first with it. So, something like the fencing, per the drawing, it's not required. It's not required of the town. Don't even have to do any additional permitting because it's there. They just send us an FYI and put a fence in. So that's an option, whether we need it or not. That piece of it. Something like the ball field, it's that chain link for some reason is rather expensive, but it'll be there a long time.
You said it was 97. Okay, I'm
Don't
just taking
go.
notes.
Don't go.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and
Okay.
find that my email.
No, that's fine.
We have some previous drawings somewhere approved by the town of Fuquay.
Not for
There was something approved, nobody knew.
well, the loop and the soccer field is approved. That's all. That's all good to go. Yeah, we can finish up, we can regrade, you can put the soccer field right down tomorrow and it's good to go.
Okay.
Yep, that's all perfectly fine.
But we were looking at something additional and maybe not in the loop,
But-
like behind the loop.
But like you go behind the loop, there's some acreage right there, the old farm fields, some of that woods right there, that's sitting dormant really right now. So we got the land. Now, what would we like to do with it? You know, this here, at least to get us some initial drawings, we can say yes, or we can say no. But definitely give us something to weigh it out. We can't really do anything else without drawings. That's the thing.
I think we would need to discuss this in a budget meeting, because I know we've got really old buildings over there, so I'd hate to put money towards something like this when we've got old buildings we need to deal with. So I think it would need to be a strategic, budget meeting to decide on that.
Yeah, well, budget wise, I mean, this year budget has a surplus to be able to accommodate that.
The drawings.
The drawings.
Yeah, we're not talking about the actual.
Oh, no, that
We're
would
just
be,
talking about the drawings.
that would be a,
not
that would be a, that'd be
Yeah.
a long discussion.
Yeah.
Try to figure that out, but
That was way off. I'm sorry, I've had way too many fence quotes. It was 25,000.
thank you, because I was like, I knew it was high,
That makes me
but
feel a little bit better, because I was in
But,
business for a second.
yeah, that's going around the whole school.
Then sorry.
I don't know, I've had so many quotes coming in. Sorry, I
All right,
apologize.
that's better. See?
Once I said it, I was like, that doesn't sound right.
But, anybody else have any comments?
I'd like to make a motion to approve just the drawing, so we can at least get a future budget of the field, so we can sort of adjust fire and make some informed decisions down the road. This certainly would be an investment in the school.
Right.
With the potential of both drawing more students here, because I know a lot of parents don't want to drive their students to baseball games. That might be a pretty big deterrent. It's also something we can show we can be proud of. But you also have the cost savings and the money that you'd be making from it. So it doesn't, it's a cost up front that ultimately pays for itself and potentially can make money and potentially draw more people here. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the 10K just to get the drawings.
The initial drawing.
Initial drawings.
I'll second it.
All right. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor to approve just the initial engineering drawings for potential land use, say aye. Aye. Everybody who opposes, no? All right. Perfect. Land use drawings as approved, we can start gathering up some ideas. Let's see what they come out.
Is that up to 10K? Or,
That's up to 10K.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll adjust tomorrow on the.
I think it'll probably be closer to half of that, but
Okay.
I don't know. I know the Fuqua has, like I said, an arborist and maybe a couple other things that we might want to.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna need the arbors, because we're not touching any of the wetlands, and everything that we have right now is pretty much already cleared. So, but we'll have to see. Has everybody else seen the SketchUp drawings he sent? The most recent ones that have like the upper field with the baseball field and everything? Did you send those out?
That you just said?
I think you did. All right, after this meeting,
No.
I'll send
So,
you.
no,
So he did some initial SketchUps, not, didn't messing with the topology or anything, but just to show how it could potentially fit. So I'll make sure you have those.
Yeah. No, I'm on, yeah, resend them, so, yes. Next on the list is, Mattamy Homes. Last month, Mattamy, stopped by, shared a few items about the sewer easement. I think we just, in short, they're not looking to, the old the older plans from last year. They're not doing those. They're running a sewer line across our front entrance of the road. They did send over an initial agreement for us to review. We're still gathering just the last some more comments from us, and then we'll get that back over to them. So we have not sent or received an updated agreement to review at this time, but it'll probably start moving along. So you'll see probably something next month, I would assume. Next is new board members. We had a chance during our board work session. We chatted amongst ourselves, and certainly we did want to open it up. I believe it was posted in the newsletter last week and this week.
2 weeks in a row, yeah.
2 weeks in a row. So, we're looking for potential board members. We will accept some applications and
With a focus on legal and marketing, preferably.
legal and marketing. Yep. So if anybody's interested, that door is open again. We are kind of reviewing applications, and then at a later date, we'll decide if we move forward at all.
Do you know if we have an outreach plan in terms of trying to cover potential board members outside of the community?
We're open to hearing about it. I don't have an active plan with that we're going out to people. We don't have that necessarily.
Could be a positive thing.
But
That
if
would
I
be
can-
great.
Get
I mean,
some more
to get a
community
different lens.
involvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That would be great.
especially if we could have somebody from legal or marketing background that would like to volunteer some hours with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That may be something we can mention in the chamber meetings too.
Yeah. Is the legal and marketing piece in the newsletter?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, I thought it wasn't. So, yeah. The applications are open if anybody's interested. Next, we have a couple school announcements. These are just some events that are happening. March 11th is Career Day. I think they're still looking for some businesses or different careers to be represented. So please, if anybody is interested in joining Career Day, it is available. March 12th, right after, is Lion Service Day. So they'll be able to come out and maybe earn some hours or look into it. I don't remember all the details on that, but it's certainly, it's a big service day that our kids can participate in or gather some more information even. And then the big one is April 11th is our spring festival. It's the title of the festival is Together We Roar, celebrating a legacy of learning, leadership, and community. So I know the board, we're super excited for the spring festival. Sounds like we'll have jump houses and food trucks and all kinds of activities that are being planned. We'll be there. So if you want to meet the board, it might be a good time to come out and say hello. We'll be there walking around or manning a booth. So that's April 11th. So definitely plan to attend. This is for the whole community, anybody. It's not just the school members. It's for the local, anybody, any residents that live around here, any folks that live further away. Yeah, alumni. Yeah, that's a big focus this year, trying to get in contact with some alumni. So if we haven't reached out to you, definitely contact the school. So
I was at the Campbell University basketball game this last weekend, and I was amazed at how many Southern Wake Academy people were there. It was crazy. It was like you're running into everyone. I got free tickets because my neighbor is on she's the president of the board of advisors, and so I was talking with her. So Campbell's going to be, they're going to have a presence here at our anniversary,
oh, very good.
and they're going to have a mascot out here, and I don't know what all they're planning on, but they're gonna be out here, so that's pretty neat. And then we've also been speaking with WRAL to try to get some advertisement going, and hopefully we also have the iHeartRadio come down, so for put stuff out in the community a little bit more. So we met the WRAL guy at the last Speedway Chamber event. So,
He held a meeting, or he EMC, the WRAL guy. I don't see a recent chamber meeting. Might have been December. Yeah. No, it's exciting news. Definitely trying to get the word out, and continue to get the word out. I'm sure there's going to be some more posts coming soon. So please share and invite everybody. Hopefully it's going to be a great time, especially the prospective new students that were just accepted here last week. I think this would be a great opportunity for everybody to come and check us out, check out the school, meet a lot of folks. So, April 11th, together we roar. All right. Anything else on school event days? I think I got the big ones. All right, next on the list, Jim, turn it over to you.
all right. I have some copies of this so that you guys can do it. I don't think I have quite enough copies for everyone in here, but we'll get close.
I read it through. I read it online. Is that a thing you read?
About 2 pages? All right, Mr. Gaffney, is the camera gonna be on me over there?
Yep.
The only reason I'm asking that is because this isn't just directed to the people that are in this room, the board members or administration. It's really directed to everybody, to include the students, the parents, and the community. So quite honestly, normally I can speak pretty fluently when I'm speaking extemporaneously, but now that I'm having to read something, get a little shaky here. So I will be sticking to the script, but I hope none of the passion is lost as we go through this. So the following are my thoughts and opinions and are not indicative of the collective board. So former director of NGA, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Robert Cardillo, used the 5 C's to drive the purpose of the organization. The 5 C's were to convey content in context for customer consequence. I would like to begin by reading Southern Wake Academy's mission statement. Mission: in partnership with parents and the community, Southern Wake Academy faculty and staff will promote academic excellence among our students through a dynamic curriculum, nurturing relationships, and involvement in the community. Notice the keywords that define the who: parents, community, faculty, and staff. And then the what: to promote academic excellence, nurture relationships, and involvement in the community. This mission was never intended to belong to just one group. It calls for a partnership, shared responsibility among all of us to convey content in context to our customers, who are our children, so that they can make a positive consequence in society. Today, we're facing serious enrollment challenges, but enrollment numbers are not the root problem. They are the symptom. They reflect how our school is experienced, how it is talked about, and how connected people feel to our vision. We are having trouble connecting the 5 C's for our customers. Thriving schools have energy, they have pride. Students feel they belong. Teachers feel supported. Families speak about the school with confidence, and communities rally behind it. If we're honest, there is much we are lacking. School spirit cannot be mandated, and vision cannot live only on paper. Culture is built through daily actions, participation, accountability, and shared ownership. Somewhere along the way, involvement has become optional instead of essential. Too often we have waited for someone else to lead, promote, or fix the problem. But our mission makes one thing clear: there is no someone else. There's only us. Parents, your engagement and advocacy shapes how this school is seen in the community. Teachers and staff, you are the heartbeat of the school. The relationships you build define the student's experience. Administration, leadership must provide not only direction, but inspiration and clarity of purpose. And coaches and activity leaders, you create pride, belonging, and identity for our students in powerful ways. And community partners, strong schools grow through intentional relationships and collaboration, not isolation. I'm going to provide an example of something that we experienced this last year. There are several families that are very active in the PTO and Booster Club. These families are the ones you see sitting in the concessions booth, picking up trash on Old Powell Road, facilitating the uniform swap, setting up awards banquets, and the list goes on. In November and December, the PTO and Booster Club, in partnership with the school, sponsored a float for the Fuquay Marina and Holly Springs Christmas Parade. Despite the efforts the clubs put forward to garner school spirit and support for the Fuquay Marina Parade, only a few student athletes participated, which consisted of my 2 kids and their friends. When I brought this up to the school administration about the lack of school participation, there ended up being much larger school participation with student athletes, teachers, administration, and coaches. This mandated or highly encouraged school spirit cannot be mandated. In retrospect, I'm confident that my efforts to get greater school and community participation was not worth some of the secondary effects it had. Culture must be built through daily actions, participation, accountability, and shared ownership. Collectively, the parents, teachers, and staff, administration, coaches, and activity leaders are the outreach and voice of the community. If we want families to choose Southern Wake Academy, we must first demonstrate through our actions, our attitudes, and our commitment that we believe in it ourselves. That requires honest reflection from all of us. We must ask, are we actively building relationships across our community or simply maintaining routines? Are we intentionally telling our story or assuming others already know it? And are we creating meaningful opportunities for involvement or unintentionally placing barriers in the way? Because the answer to these questions determine not only how others see our school, but who we become as a school. Our students deserve more than a school that simply functions. They deserve a school filled with pride, opportunity, and optimism, a place that prepares them for a confident future. Let us rebuild partnerships, let us restore pride, let us increase involvement, and let us hold ourselves accountable respectfully and consistently. The Southern Wake Academy will not be determined by circumstances, but by commitment. If each of us leaves asking, what can I personally do to strengthen the school, then change begins today. I beg you, I implore you to reach out to the school directly, the PTO, the Booster Club, and learn how you can get involved. There's so much that we can do through our school to make a positive impact on our youth. On this sheet and throughout the website, you can reach out to me directly via email or phone. My phone number is 910-922-7010. That's 910-922-7010, or jim.moore@swake.org. I'd love to speak with anyone and we talk about how you can get more involved. The kids' future depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I love your passion.
Gets me in trouble sometimes.
Yes, I like how you mentioned just the involvement, whether it's from parents or staff or coaches or club leaders or any of us. You know, the involvement is really what makes what will make us successful. So, appreciate everybody's input. So. All right, last item on the board comments section is one of our board members, Gary Leonard. He tried to attend tonight, but wasn't able to make it. He hasn't been able to make the last couple of them. Talked to him here these last few days, and time has come that Gary has sent me just now before the meeting has just now sent his resignation from the board. I'll forward this out to the board, but I'll read it now. Hi, Scott. As discussed over the phone, this email serves as my resignation from the board of Southern Wake Academy. I cannot actually remember how many years I've been on the board, but it has been a few. There were many difficult years and many trials during my tenure, and during that time, it has been my pleasure to work with some incredible people, both on the board and serving on the staff at Southern Wake Academy. The school has survived existential threats, but has endured due to the work of all these amazing people. I believe it is now in a position to thrive rather than survive. This, combined with my current load of responsibilities, means the time has come for my departure in favor of other who can do justice to the role better than me at this point. Thank you all for your hard work, and I wish SWA all the success in molding the future of all the precious children entrusted to our care. Regards, Gary Leonard.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, thank you, Gary. It's been here a lot of years and certainly has added some valuable input over the years. So, yes. I guess I probably should, I'll make a motion to accept Gary Leonard's resignation. If we can have a second. Second, Amy. So now we'll vote to accept Gary's resignation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
No.
Well, hey, document. So the motion has passed. So Gary, we wish you the best of luck, and your resignation has now been accepted. All right, that concludes the board comments for this evening. We'll get into Mark. I believe you're on the phone. If you want to give a finance update.
Sure, can you hear me okay?
Sound great.
All right, good. Apologize that I'm not able to be there with you, but I'll try to give you at least a summary, details of the financial situation. Generally speaking, for this school year, I think everyone in the staff and the administration done a great job of keeping us in a good place. So we're actually continuing to project a surplus for this year, and it has actually grown a little bit as actually the year-to-date surplus has grown a little bit because we received state funds. So year-to-date we look really good, but even projected, we still also are higher than we thought last month. The cash position is still very good. We have over 200 days of cash on hand, and now that is making steady interest, which is very good, very positive for making use of it. For staffing, I did put that there's still staff openings. I think when you get to the school report, I imagine we'll maybe hear some more about that, but I know they're still looking for some additional staffing for EC to get that department where they need to be from a teacher perspective. For this month, we did have some additional revenue that's increased our projections a bit, around $88,000, and that's coming from an SRO grant that was received. There's a little bit higher revenue from the state that was more than previously expected. Of course, the interest income is another one, and there was some additional athletics revenue that came in that was in for the positive. For the negatives, the storage unit costs are coming in higher than budget, as previously thought. And then some of the licenses and title fees for the bus coming into vehicle supplies, and then some software licenses and athletic services for the referee fees have increased our expense projections, but those are actually not significantly increased. So overall, our projection is higher than it was last month. So now looking at next year, I think, that's still a work in progress. I think getting a handle on our expected student counts with the lottery acceptances and working through that will be our, kind of the next step in taking a look at, what things we need to put in place for next year. So that's that's my report. If there's any questions, please feel free.
Any questions, comments? All right, Mark, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Finance update. Now we'll turn it over to Dr. Cotton for the
Kind of serving as our quasi consultant. As you know, she is our grant writer, but she's worked at DPI for a number of years. And she and Sean actually met a couple of weeks ago. And so with school improvement, that's her jam. And so she was all over it, giving Sean really targeted advice. And so Sean's taking it to heart. So we're really fortunate to be able to have her collaborating with us. And our next step really is relaunching our school improvement team, which Mr. Dayton is leading. And he's already trying to put some things in play so that we'll have a stronger improvement team. One of her recommendations was that we do a broader outreach in terms of trying to get more parents on the committee. Her recommendation was to try to get a parent from each grade level. I don't know how possible that is, but I think I understand where she was going with that, to get a broader lens, kind of feeding into what Jim just shared in his letter to the community. We also have the North Carolina Teaching Working Conditions Survey. The window actually opens on March 2nd all the way through the 31st. This week I'll be sending out instructions to staff, and they would like a 90% participation rate. In order for us to receive that collaborative data, 50% of our staff have to participate in the survey. I think it's a great tool, just another indicator actually of helping to assist us with a broader outside lens. So actually I'm looking forward to this survey. I also sent you a letter that legal helped to craft. We introduced a middle school cell phone policy implementation under the leadership of Principal Golf. It started on February the 16th. And honestly, I've heard very few pushback. I think if anything, it's been well received, and trying to help middle school students use their technology devices in an appropriate manner. And so this is kind of our broader outreach. We're starting in middle school and then hoping to launch this in our high school starting next year. But we're looking at the data points from middle school students. And anyway, I think one of the things that we have is that this is a state mandate, a cell phone policy. So it's not something that, a parent can say, you can't do this. I mean, this is statewide in North Carolina about strengthening cell phone policies. So we've launched it in our middle school program, and then next year we'll roll it out and introduce it to our high school. So I'm very happy with our results so far, and I think Principal Golf may speak on. She actually met with the middle school staff today to get feedback on the implementation of the new policy.
So that cell phone policy, we already have a section in our handbook for no cell phone usage. I think it was
During instructional time.
during instructional time. So this is an extension off that.
It is an extension because, as we know, students are very savvy with their technology devices. All of you who are parents are shaking your heads, yes. So this is something that will help them. So, I mean, I think it's a long time coming, and it was needed. Next on the agenda, I sent you a contract, employment agreement for approval. I'm going to pull that back because the agreement that you received was a general education agreement. The person that we just hired has just received, thanks to Mr. Dayton's guidance, their emergency EC license. And so now that person is going to be plugged into the EC department for support. So I'm going to actually send you a revised employment agreement to reflect that. So I'm going to pull that back.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
And Mr. Lane has done a really great job of working with our auditors. And so I asked Hunter a couple weeks ago, is he happy with the services? And he said, yeah, let's continue with them. So they've proposed an engagement letter. And so I sent that engagement letter to you for review. And if you are on the same page, then I would love to get the board approval to go ahead with the audit that would start in June, I believe.
So approval to stay with the same company as was.
Approval to stay with the same company, but then to also begin the audit.
Okay, and it's Patel and
Sharp Patel.
Sharp Patel, that's right.
You need our approval?
Oh, we need your signature.
You need my signature?
Yes.
Oh. That's not so bad.
You need to do that.
I gotta do it now. All right.
We're waiting.
That's
Hunter's shaking his head.
pressure. All right, we're good to go.
Thank
I have
you.
I'm trained. That's all I got.
So last week, we ran the lottery. 120 students were offered seats. Right now, we are looking at the relational aspect of that in terms of doing an outreach initiative to get all 120 in. I think we've got about 73 or 74 that have responded. One of the things that stemmed from our last board meeting was that piece of an outreach initiative. So I've asked two of our staff members who are long tenured, Mrs. Morgan and Mrs. Harbaugh, sixth grade teachers. They have been working with Mrs. Seamuth and Mr. Doak, and they will begin making phone calls to those families. It's really a three-pronged initiative. Going down the list of those kids in the portal, but then looking at our intent to return, going down that list as well, and then making a final push towards the end of the semester with sustained phone calls. And then there's also going to be a summer initiative push as well. But I think to everyone's point, the focus is making families feel welcome. And in fact, one of the things that we were talking about was inviting our newly accepted families to the April 11th event. We also talked about some merchandise that we could pass along as well. So I think it's that touch of, now that you're accepted, really going out of the way to make them feel welcomed into the community, but then also making an outreach effort to those families who haven't returned their intent to return forms. So I think it's the school's initiative now to really take it to the families. And we were just informed by Mrs. Seamuth last week that we've got about 9 or 10 families that have requested tours. And so we're in the process now of trying to schedule tours coming up.
So I think it's all on the LED sign, so it's every Thursday?
Mhm.
From what time to what time are the tours?
10 to 12.
10 to 12, so they would just show up here at the front desk? And
Well, but I mean, Principal Golf and I are actually looking at other avenues outside of that window as well. But that's going to be the standard
That's the
time that we're offering
guaranteed.
tours.
You
Yeah.
can show up, you'll get a tour. But we do prefer that people RSVP so we can tour you with the right people, so that you have all the right questions answered. And then we're also looking at establishing other blocks of time outside of that to get more people in the building.
And we do an ad that runs with a form that people can fill out to either indicate that they want to come on Thursday, or if they have time crunch issues, that gets to Heather, and then she can coordinate for a separate time for them as well.
Thank you.
So are we planning to do any tours on the 11th or not on the 11th? That's just the celebration.
That's a celebration, but for those families that are new, if there is a request for a tour, then yeah, we can tour the facility. And I'm really impressed with the work that Ms. Seaman and Principal Golf have been doing in terms of thinking outside of the box to create other engagement opportunities instead of the standard info session. How can we be creative to really spark engagement amongst our stakeholders and those outside of the community as well? So.
Yeah, Ms. Seaman's just doing a lot of great work from what I've seen. So I know she's putting a lot of time and effort into it, and you know, I'm sure it's going to be a very successful event. I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah, she's definitely burning the candle on so many different fronts right now. The final piece that I want to talk about, you were sent a draft of the 26-27 academic calendar. It's kind of started with the framework that I drafted, and then I collaborated with Principal Golf, and then she took everything that I had been thinking about, and then she evolved it, and then she formed a calendar committee, and shared it with the leadership team first. The leadership team provided feedback, and she shared it with the calendar committee. And then what's so interesting, as of Friday, we actually made another change because we were talking about trying to get it right. You remember that in our last meeting, we talked about the possibility of extending the school day. We decided to keep the same normal operating hours for the upcoming school year. So this could be a smooth, seamless transition for our new academic calendar. As you've read through, the first day of school starts on August the 10th. The last day ends on May 26th. Total instructional days, 177. The thing that's going to be different is that we're reducing it to 2 portfolio days. We exceed the minimum of instructional hours. With our remote learning plan, which we get 5 days, and with this particular calendar, we get about 3.27 days as well. So we have lunch 23 minutes. Semesters are broken down fairly evenly. Principal Golf did a really good job of trying to evenly divide semester 1, semester 2. So it's very similar to this year's calendar. And so I think with the school being in transition, we tried to keep the calendars to as close as previous calendars. We'll have a 2-day fall break. We'll have a 3-day Thanksgiving break, 2 portfolio days, 1 in quarter 1, 1 in quarter 3. What's different this year versus the upcoming year, this year we didn't have a lot of professional development days. Within this calendar, though, we have about 14 work days. So we've got 5 at the beginning of the year for new staff, for returning staff. New staff will have 2 extra days. And so Principal Goff did a really good job of kind of staggering the professional work days. And we also have a backup plan if we exceed the number of days, how that would be used in terms of making up those instructional days. So a lot of work went into this calendar, looking at feedback. She got more emails than I did, but she got a lot of her share of emails from staff members. And in fact, there was one compelling email that came from a couple staff members that we kind of discussed. And so, like I said, on Friday, before everyone went home, she made another adjustment so that we make sure that it's a seamless transition to next year's calendar. Is there anything you want to add? This is your baby.
You did a good job of capturing it. I think a couple of things just to keep in mind is the portfolio days, there's only 2 dedicated to like conferencing, but it doesn't mean we're not going to do portfolios in the other quarters. We're just going to not have them as standalone conference days. The portfolio process really won't shift too much. Just the number of actual conference days will look different. So I want to make sure that was clear, that we're not shifting what's in our charter or what's in our practice as far as portfolios. We're just reducing the number of conference days that are utilized. The other thing I wanted to note, just because I think it's a valid note, is fall break falls during the State Fair week. So it gives our staff 2 weekdays that they can not be at work and enjoy our state fair. We try to do that at my other school consistently year after year so that I didn't have to go on a Saturday, because Saturdays are awful at the fair. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a point as well.
Yes, that's when they will be appreciative of it. Well, I do like that you mentioned there's more professional development work days in there. I think that's really good for our staff.
And they were intentionally placed second semester, because if you notice, first semester, like every month, almost every month is shortened by some sort of break. And then second semester is just a long haul. So you'll see like September we have a work day, but then October we don't because we have fall break. And then November we don't because of Thanksgiving. And December we don't because of winter break. But then January, February, March, April, and even May all have a full day professional day. So while it's not really a break because teachers have to come in and work, it does give us space to breathe in every single one of those long second semester months.
That's good. Any other comments?
I have a question. And this is just because I just don't know. So on portfolio days, the student comes in, they do their portfolio with their advisor, and then they typically go home. Do they get counted for that entire day? So it's still considered a full, right? So where I was going with this is so on
Yeah, the short answer is yes.
Yes.
And
So-
that probably needs to be the end of the discussion right now.
Okay. So the March, what's the service day, which is also
12th.
portfolio day, March 12th.
So 12th.
March 11th.
Line, service day.
One is the career day and one is the service day, the 2 days back to back. That's our
11th
this
is
current year.
career day, 12th
Portfolio
is Thursday.
next month.
Or Thursday, March 12th.
And then portfolio days start Thursday and Friday.
So I don't have a calendar from me. Is that one of those, the service day?
That's the
Okay.
first
So
portfolio.
my question is, what are we doing? So if, for those students that have portfolio days on those days, is there anything the school is doing to encourage the service participation, or is it strictly just voluntary? That's where I was trying to go with it. I'm sorry.
Well, we're tying it to a portfolio day intentionally to have more students participate, because they already have to be here for portfolios anyway, and they do get to earn their hours in that service day. So that's the connection. And Ms. Seamuth and Mr. Michaels have been working together pretty tightly on that one. So I don't have all the specific details. I just know the timing was created intentionally to support having more students on campus, because every student has to come on campus on one of those 2 days anyway.
It's very similar to what we did the first half of the year. You may remember we had the fair tied to portfolio days, and we were able to get a lot of students to come out on those days. So that was really intentional and strategic.
All right, thank you.
Booster. E-Club and Builder Club are also trying to keep up participation with students. And the service, grab more students in, along with parents too, to supervise.
I was thinking like, I know with David and Ella, if you ask them to come in, to say it's not mandatory to do anything at the school, they're probably gonna be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to the gym or play basketball. So I was just wondering who is the school prodding them to say, hey, no, you're gonna do this service? You know, that's where I was going with it, so I just didn't know, so.
I think we're trying to boost up our club participation,
Yeah, yeah.
and then naturally those clubs are gonna go out to multiple opportunities, so.
Sorry.
That was good.
The other thing I wanted to know, when you look at the makeup recommendations, you'll notice that even though we have 3.27 days of quote unquote bank days, we only use 2 of them. And the reason for that is anytime we have a 2-hour delay, those hours eat against those hours. So leaving that day, that 1.2 days available for multiple 2-hour delays. So that's why that third bank day you don't see listed as an optional makeup day.
So we just need your approval.
If the staff and you guys are all good with it, I don't have anything else. So I think Maureen. All right. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 academic calendar. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor to approve the calendar? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All in favor, say no. Motion has passed. 2026-2027 academic calendar is good to go.
All right. I think last year, how many times did we have to bring this to the board?
It was
And we had several,
2 or 3 months.
several
Did a lot of work,
like
yes.
ABC.
Those were some of my first meetings and they were painful. I felt bad.
Well,
Thank you, Ms.
there
Dahl.
have been 8 drafts in circulation.
We just didn't see all that.
So
work.
we did all that work for you
Well
before it
done.
got to you.
Thank you. I do have a question while we're talking about the academic calendar, but for this year, I know we had some weather days and we used some remote learning days. Can you just give a quick update? How many remaining days or days we still have available?
I think we've got 1 remote instruction day left, and then how many hours?
I'm pulling it up right now. I got it in a
I
spreadsheet.
think we've got 1 day and some change,
We're down to
Is it 4 or
hours.
5? For some reason I'm thinking it's 4, but is it 5 DPI?
5.
Okay, for
Yeah.
some reason I'm thinking 4.
We're not in New York, so we should
Should
be good.
In fact, New York.
No, I
canceled.
agree. I'm hoping we're done and past that by now, but just so we have an update, like we're running thin.
Yeah, I think we've got 1 remote day and then maybe 1 calendar day left.
A good thunder going on.
Almost there.
Yes, it did. At
We
4
have-
o'clock.
We have 1 remote day, 1 school day, 1 full school day with a couple of extra hours.
Okay. Still available. Well, sounds good. Well, I think Dr. Cotton, you and Ms. Goff, and the team that, I think you really handled these this last month. There's a couple weeks right there. It was a little sketchy with ice and snow and some crazy weather and maneuvering, some cancellations versus remote learning days versus, all that stuff. It was, I think overall it worked out pretty well. Now we still have 1 of each left basically. So, sitting really good.
Hopefully there's no more snow.
No more. It's done, right?
They thought that in New York as well. so.
Gotta be careful. I've had snow on spring break before.
Well, thank you. That concludes my part. I'll turn it over to Principal Goff.
Thank you. Thank you for the calendar because that's a critical piece for some rolling into next year planning that we need. I'm sorry that I did not get Dr. Cotton a copy of this between professional development in Greensboro for a couple of days and then being out to support my mother and her health. I've just been trying to get caught up and it slipped my mind to put this on paper for you guys in time, but I will send it and you can have it post the meeting. As far as school culture and climate, like normal, there's the weekly newsletters that go out through marketing and the CMA, the daily communication with staff and so forth. I did meet with the middle school staff today about the electronic device accountability implementation. So we keep calling it the cell phone policy, but the policy itself has been there all year. We just shifted how we were enforcing it and holding people accountable. it's a really good meeting. Just got their feedback, answered some questions, had a few ideas that we're gonna swirl around, and I'm gonna collaborate with Mr. Dayton over the next couple of days on some ideas to see, because whatever they put in place, we have to be willing to enforce higher than them, so we'll make sure we're on the same page. But the getting together as a middle school, which I haven't done all year long, we've always had full staff meetings. It was really good, and they were like hungry to do it again. So that was like a nice cultural kind of. It was nice to have them in a room where we just talk about specific middle school things. And so we'll do that again pretty soon because they were like, "Oh, we haven't done this all year. Let's do it again. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that." So they're asking to do that. So that was a nice, good, positive vibe as far as like they want to get together and they want to talk and work together and collaborate. So that was positive. They're doing really well with implementation. The kids are responding really well. A few tweaks. I mean, kids are kids. All humans are gonna get away with whatever they can get away with, right? So it was good. And it's going well. We are continuing to look at long-range plans for professional development and instructional growth. And part of rolling into next year is having the calendar and having these days approved so we can start mapping out how we're going to look at professional development over the course of the year. And then master schedule process for next year has kind of already begun, but waiting on this final piece here. So now that this is done, we can really dive into building out next year's course requests and staffing. We were waiting on the lottery to get numbers and all those kinds of things. So those things are lining up. So we'll dig real deep next week into starting our 26, 27 planning processes and structures. And that's all I have.
Sure. Regarding licensure, which is about 70%, we have a couple that hopefully will be in by the end of, I guess, our next board meeting. We're hoping. One teacher needs her transcript translated, so it's taking a little bit. And one is a very special license that I got to learn how to do. It's taking a little bit, but we're getting it in. SIT team, the fire's already been started. That's good. We're walking through it. I think for me to help and step in, I think it's a good time. So I think we're gonna renew our needs assessment, take a fresh look, and see where we're at. We've had a lot of changes this year, and we want to make sure that the indicators that we are going to be attacking and are key to our efforts, our current efforts. So I'm excited about that. I do want to shout out student services. Our goal this year, one of our goals this year was to really expand, educate our students on, why are you here? What's your next steps? What are you planning to do? And that's continuing. And tomorrow during advisory, we're going to pull our 10th and 11th graders, and we have a rep coming from Wake Tech to talk about the CCP program. So these students increasingly are starting to take those college courses during high school and getting a lot of those out of the way for free. Still getting credit for it. So we're just trying to continue to elevate their education and and motivation to finish strong and to finish with more of a purpose. So it's exciting to see those changes.
And I love the effort that Student Services is making for the 8th graders in that transition. That's a piece that's been missing over the last couple of years. So I'm really happy that they're making that push to really educate 8th grade families. What does a high school experience look like, and talking them through that process.
Yeah, we're looking at getting, we've talked about getting some of those cats over here to experience some high school classes and stuff. I remember I didn't really have much push for college, but after I started to tour some college, it's like, well, this is exciting stuff. When you get experience in that next level, and specifically, here at the school, I think it'll be a strong encouragement for our students to look at what we have to offer, which is a lot. So. Thank you.
It'll be at 10 a.m. The 30th, I'll be doing the sprinkler and fire alarm inspection as well. Those are during spring break, so you don't have to worry about kids or students on campus. Had some slight repairs to some bathrooms like normal, it seems like. Some outside lights were repaired. One emergency light was repaired in building 1. And then the fire panel in building 2 is in the trouble mode due to the recent storm over the weekend. So we got a tech coming out on Friday for that. So if I had to guess, it's probably a fuse or something that got burnt. Seems to happen when we have a storm in the mobile units. So that should be repaired on Friday. But other than that, everything else smooth.
Keep it
Knock
that
on
way.
wood.
Keep it that, yeah. Thank you.
And thank you. Dr. Crutcher cannot be here tonight, but she did leave you a copy of her EC report.
Is there anything in her report you want to go over, or?
I actually just got the report prior to, so I haven't read it through it.
I'll quickly just say the numbers, and if I stumble or something, you guys can correct me. Looks like compliance report, total students 422, compliance 2%, 2 with IEPs, and 9 is eligibility. Out of compliance IEPs, but students incoming with expired IEPs in January 2026, both students have open reevaluations to secure updated testing. Out of compliance eligibility, 2 are students who enrolled with expired eligibility in January 2026. Other 7 are students who have open evaluations seeking updated testing. Staffing is still impacted by EC teacher and TA shortages. Dr. Cotton, our teacher who secured an emergency EC license, we just heard. Dr. Crutcher designed an onboarding plan to provide an on-the-job training for instruction and case management to build the new hires' capacity for EC instruction and EC case management paperwork, building capacity of EC staff with emergency licenses in the areas of EC instruction and case management is a slow process, which will take a significant amount of time. SWA needs another certified EC teacher, preferably with case management trainings and experience. SWA has utilized sub-coverage for in ECTAs since October 2025. And then, is this last page, is this? Do we share this? OCS? No, yeah. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Got numbers. Is there an athletics update at all?
He's currently downstairs at
I
our
know,
girls'
I know.
first time basketball game.
Okay.
I can give you, our girls made first round, they're playing it tonight.
Yes, that's awesome.
And boys play Thursday night. Baseball's getting started. Baseball's playing, probably done now, but baseball played today. Haven't heard an update on that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, some exciting times. All right, moving to the next session. Thank you, Dr. Cotton. Thanks, everybody, for your reports. PTO, is there any PTO updates that you'd like to share?
I haven't
Put you
been
on the
here
spot.
in several months, my bad.
No, you're good.
So for PTO, we have the Q3 luncheon on March 12th, I believe. We're looking at also sponsoring something during the line service day, the same day as well. And then we are working on the designs for the 8th grade and the senior signs. We should come out soon. That's it.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Athletic boosters. Have you got any updates or heard anything? Yeah. Sounds good. Committee reports. We had a tight month, so I'm not sure. Is the governance committee?
We
haven't met specifically. We have been meeting with Dr. Cotton regularly, just for updates and such. But, I think we have a few things coming up, but right now we're good.
Good. Finance, Mark. I don't think there's anything additional from the finance side that he did go over. Academics committee,
Yeah, we don't have anything.
and then marketing. I don't know, Bob, if you had anything.
I'll be quick, which I wasn't last month, so I promise.
All right, Megan.
I'll fly through this. Let me start with things that we do that don't involve enrollment. In the last 4 weeks, our team's done 159 social media posts. Our Facebook and social media engagement continues to be really positive. In the last 4 weeks, we had over 107,000 views from 41,000 different people. 37,000 of them were organic visitors, and 67,000 of them were people that came through our advertising. So we're happy with what we're seeing there. Instagram numbers are smaller, but 71,000 views from 12,000 different people. 2 most popular posts, both with Instagram and with Facebook last month, were congratulating our middle school basketball team and congratulating our senior cheerleaders. As Principal Goff mentioned, we continue to push out the newsletters on a weekly basis. Our open rate is kind of like right at 65% every week, which we're pleased with. And, Heather does a great job of providing us a massive amount of information. And Dr. Cott and I were talking the other day, I just think is a big part of what we're trying to do right now is right that ship and just really lean into retention and reminding our families that we're communicating with them and giving them the information they need to be confident that they're in the right place. And I think the newsletter certainly has helped with that too. We've also started to do marketing to the people who are in the applicant database as well. First newsletter we sent out to them had a 54% open rate. We mentioned 120 offers the first day, and last I checked, 73 completions. I also shared some forms that we use with other schools with Mrs. Seamuth that she can share with Ms. Morgan and Ms. Harbaugh, so that as they're going through conversations with people, they have scripts they can lean into, and so she's been able to edit those. And we also gave her a Google form, so if after the first 2 or 3 times you don't get someone, you can send them an email and ask them to answer 3 questions and maintain that engagement, because that's clearly a critical part of what we're doing. Website activity continues to be busy, as we would expect. Homepage and the application page are by far the most visited pages on the website. 3,800 visits to the homepage last month, 3,300 application, and then the next biggest page view is like 300. So that's kind of what we would expect. Dr. Cott and I are now meeting every week to make sure that we maintain lines of communication. We have some things working that we I think are going to continue to help as we work with student services, Principal Goff. I'm really excited about the student services middle school readiness and high school readiness activities, and we'll be advertising them aggressively because they give people a reason to come to our school with no pressure. We might happen to have a tablet for them to fill out while they're here, but it gives them the opportunity to get assurances that their students are ready for 6th grade or 9th grade. So we think that will be good. We're also marketing the open house event coming up on March 5th, marketing for tours. We've also added a breakout ad campaign that is hyper-targeted. We bid on all the area middle schools and high schools in the area. And what we've discovered is the performance of those campaigns is not much different from the regular campaigns we're running with AdWords. And there's very few people. We budgeted $25 a day, and so far in 3 weeks we've spent a total of $35. So there just aren't that many people out there looking for other schools, but when they do, we'll slide in there and let them see us as well. Also working to try to build more engagement with the student-created content, because we know that's a critical part of the opportunity that's in front of us. If we have kids in our school who are really good followers and they have friends at Holly Springs High School, they have an opportunity to make that connection. So we're working to solidify those relationships as well. And then also one of the other things that we want to try to structure with our enrollment engagement people is giving them the ability to also incorporate relationship conversations with students and parents, so that if someone is thinking about coming here, they're not quite sure, if we can say, well, would your eighth grader be interested in talking with one of our students? So we can continue to build those touch points. And so we're working on that as well. I also have a meeting on Friday. I don't know where this will lead. I've rejoined the Fuquay Chamber. I met a woman recently who runs a high-end neighborhood magazine for Fuquay Arena. So I'm meeting with her on Friday to see if there's anything there for us as well. So, a lot going on. We're just pushing as hard as we can in as many different places as we can. Also working to secure data so we can do retention analysis. And another thing that I'm working on is what I call conversion analysis, which is to say how many people who have come through lotteries actually make it to the first day of class. Because I think as we factor that information, that will help us determine what kind of numbers we're looking for enrollment in August. So a lot going on, and we just keep pushing. So happy to answer any questions or
You mentioned on the newsletter, the opening rate was 65%. Recently, was that just the last newsletter, or is
no, that's since
that's
August. It's
since August?
It's
What's
it's
the trend?
64 this week. It's 67 last week. It's 68 the week before. It's you can almost set your watch by it. It's within about 2 percentage points every week. It's been really solid. Not much change there.
Is that a normal opening rate?
That's an outstanding open rate. In a lot of trade publications, 20% is considered an open rate. So it's just an indication that our families are engaging with the content that we're sharing. And that goes out to all of our middle school families, all of our high school families, and now we're also sending it out to all of our high school families.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. That concludes the committee reports. That's about it. So the next meeting, the next monthly meeting is Tuesday, March 24th at 6 p.m. And hopefully everybody will come back and then join us. Other than that, that's it. We are going to move into a closed session. Should be a quick closed session discussing legal matters. No votes, no nothing will take place. And once we come out of closed session, we will close it off and end the meeting. So with that, can we have a motion to enter into closed session? Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor to go into closed session, say aye. Aye. And thank you. Thanks, everybody. Now we will now move into closed session at 7:33. Thanks, everybody, for attending.